Because a lot of people are watching, and I myself, sometimes you feel stuck in your network. You feel that you're the only one thinking about this thing. Sometimes you feel like you're crazy that you're so passionate about one thing and nobody else cares about it. The same way I'm with my YouTube thing in my network, right? So what could we do? Can we sign up for classes? Can we go to random cafes in different cities? What should we do? You can do a lot of things in Copenhagen, and within the last 12 years, I've visited the capital of Denmark plenty of times for different reasons. But lately, whenever I travel for my work or simply visit friends, there's one thing I have to do first. I just have to stop by Queen's Delight. Done! I got what I came for. So once I satisfied my craving, I had one of the most inspiring talks with this guy. So you might remember Oliver from the photo shoot I had a couple of months ago with Big Boys. This is Oliver. I met Oliver as a model, but little did I know, he's a lot more than a model.
Yeah, not so much a model. I think that was probably more of a backup choice. Although, you know, I do pride myself on my no. What I do is I actually work with, in this case, Big Boys. So everything that has to do with the online part, which sometimes floats over to the local part as well. I do the acquisition for them there, and then we do conversion optimization so that people, you know, when they go to a site, that actually buy. And in the end making sure that they come back. So all of the technical nerdy stuff in a sense, but it's a small business. Yeah. So whenever you need to get something done, then everyone wears a million different hats, which is cool.
Exactly. And I'm glad you just finished with everyone wears a million hats, because I think it's very important to know a little bit about everything, but because it will help you in the process later, but it's very good to focus on one thing. And I want to give you an example, Oliver. I just went to this place called Queen's Delight. I always go there when I come to Copenhagen because I have a sweet tooth. I love sweets, so I gotta go there. The only thing they do is sell eclairs. They sell eclairs to a level where they are already known all over Denmark, and at least in Copenhagen, people that love cakes, whenever they want eclairs, they know where to go. When they focus on one thing, and they became famous and very good at this one thing.
If you expect to get good at something, and especially, I mean, if you're running a business just like Alex or I, you can't really expect people to hire you in to do something if you do a bit of everything, right? I don't think I would be comfortable being at a brain surgeon that also was a mechanic and also did this.
That's
and
a good
also
example.
this. And it was just, it was just like a part-time hobby thing that they were messing around people's brains.
You're doing it on the side, right?
Yeah, it's a side thing. I don't think I would be. That might be an extreme example, but I don't know if there is an actual term for it, but you have some certain amount of decision energy, right? Whoever's watching this might know it from, they get up in the morning, they're very clear in their head, they drink their coffee, everything is good and chill. And the further they get in the day, the more lazy they become decision-wise, right? It becomes more difficult to make the right decisions in a sense. Not that it's difficult necessarily, but it's like you don't have the mental capacity or energy to do it because you've spent your energy on a million different things.
I've been struggling in the last years, and last years means more or less the last 5 years. I had this thing in my head where it said, I don't want to be known just for being the camera guy. I don't want to be known just, by the guy that knows how to do videos.
Yeah.
And there was something in my brain. Nobody told me this. I didn't get it from any sort of other source. It was just me talking to myself. Yeah, but I can do other things also, right? And then when I started doing other things also, I was like, well, I don't want to be known just for the guy that knows how to do website. I don't want people to think I only know how to do one thing. But then I argued with myself, and I was like, but why? Why is that? I still don't know where it came from, but I tried to argue with myself, and now that I got older, I realized how important it is to focus on one thing. And if that one thing is something that is part of your passion, that's even better. I'm lucky enough to do this thing around videography and the creative space where I like it, and I realized that I like to do this. So lately I try to do this one thing. It doesn't mean you're doing one thing, you're not executing on one thing, you're focused on a thing, but that specific thing has a process around it. Me making YouTube videos has a planning process, has an execution process, has a follow-up process, has some sort of feedback process. What I want to ask you is networking, because we were talking a lot about networking in the last 2 hours, and whatever you do, networking will for sure be part of that one thing. So I want to ask Oliver, why do you think networking in general is important? And if you could share with us a couple of tips about networking on how to do it right, and if you can spare time without, you know, not like realizing when you're wasting time, right?
Yeah.
And realizing when you're having a great conversation the same way we had for the last 2 hours.
Yeah, okay, that's actually a good point. So, yeah. Should we move? We can
yeah, I guess we can.
Yeah. Okay. So this old man came, right? And we were sitting very discreetly, coming in early, all of that. And then what happens is this old man comes with a cake in his hand, not on a plate, right? And sits down, looks at the camera and is like, does this have to be that? And then just pushes it away. And we're just like, And so what we did instead was drive around half the island, and then we find this sweet place, which is actually looks like a studio. It isn't. Actually, we're just in the middle of the mall. So hopefully this works out and we don't get kicked out. First of all, whenever anything comes to, no matter what you want to do professionally or even just as your hobby, right? Everything that we do with education, for instance, we get up, we go to kindergarten, so we know how to act when we get to elementary school, right? And then we go to elementary school, so we know how to act in high school, and we go to high school, so we know how to function when we go to the university. Yeah. And we go to the university so we can get a job. And all of that has, you know, entry points, right? You have points of entry. Yeah. So if you want a nice job in a prestigious whatever company, right? Well, then the thing is, you can either educate yourself the entire way, and you can send in a resume together with the 50,000 other people also trying to work for that same place, and then you can cross your fingers and pray and, you know, whatever you believe in, that they will look at you, right? And they might do, they might not. Or you can leverage network. You can find the person on LinkedIn. I'm just making an example here. It could be anything. You can find the person on LinkedIn. You can ask them, okay, what is something that everyone does? I'm pretty sure everyone eats typically 3 times a day, right? Both of us drink coffee. That's why we're having a coffee, right? Because it's very easy for Alex to say, hey, Oliver, I'm in Copenhagen, dude. Do you want to go grab a coffee? And
that's what just happened. That's exactly what happened.
Exactly, and now we're here. So you can actually do the same, leveraging your network. And I'm not saying that because you write to Elon Musk, if he wants to have a coffee with you, that it will magically happen, right? But just the concept of being proactive.
A lot of you watching this, you've already heard this. You've heard it from inspirational speakers, right? Yeah. In tons of TED Talks and whatever, but execute. If you know a guy that knows a guy, contact them, right? Like, actually, in the 2 hours we were talking, before actually hitting record, we already came up with, we were brainstorming of things we could do together. We work in different industries, but there's a lot of ways we can complement each other's work without feeling that we're stealing from each other, or like we're, you know, stealing the competition or stealing from your plate or whatever. Yeah. On the contrary, we already talked about ways on how we could work with each other to help each other grow.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Right? And that's how this conversation started, actually. It doesn't have to be a selfish thing. I'll help you if you help me. Yeah. It's not that, because then you will always expect something in return, and if that return doesn't happen, you're not gonna act in the same way. Yeah. So try, at least from my experience, try to find a middle ground into finding things that you have in common, and of course trying to leverage that for both wins.
We have all heard this saying that, you know, show me the 5 people you spend the most time with, and I'll show the few. I don't even remember who said it, but I've heard it a gazillion times, right?
That's true.
And the reason why it's true is because you get energy off each other, right? If you hang out with people that spend their time watching football and eating chips, not that there is anything wrong with it, but then there is a very high possibility that that is how your lifestyle is going to look as well, which is again why you go back to questioning this time that I'm spending. Is it the best way that I could be spending it? Just be not careful, but just pay attention to it. There are what, 8 billion people on the planet. Why not spend time with the ones that gives you value and that you can add value to, rather than the ones that are, you know, okay, this is okay right now, and in 2 years you don't even speak together. You know? And I think that's something, again, you know, if you're someone who travels a lot and it builds networks, all like everything is about networking.
Exactly.
We could go on about this, but
Yes, and maybe one of the last things I want to say about networking is that off camera, I was telling Oliver that I don't know any YouTuber personally. Not only that, I can count on one hand how many photographers and videographers I know personally. So I feel pretty much alone. I have the support of some friends and my girlfriend, of course, with this YouTube channel. It's something I'm trying to grow. I'm a bit older now. I'm trying to look at it as a business, but not as something that I want money off of in the recent future. It's something that I'm planning to grow slowly, just like any other business. So me trying to get in touch with like-minded people, it's a bit hard when you're stuck in one place. So networking involves traveling, cold calling, and I think that's one of the things you should keep in mind about networking. Have an eye open, have your eyes open to who you're talking with and when, because people are more than they seem at first. Isn't that right? Like,
I think so. Simply connect with them. And I'm not talking, you know, oh, we should Snapchat or not that there is anything wrong with that, but try to actually be like, okay, let's set a plan for the future. For instance, we actually agreed, and I remember that we agreed before we left that we were going to do something. We didn't plan the exact date, but we planned of just meeting up and shooting something. And here we are now. Alex is like, hey, by the way, I went to Copenhagen, so or your girlfriend needed to go to Copenhagen, so I went with her. And you know, I would do, if I do that, do you have time to, you know, meet up? And of course, right, because we already agreed on it. Now we have a network. Now we make a video. And again, this one is not perfect because we planned like
nothing.
Like we just met up, right? And both of us are super busy and everything, so we're just doing it.
Exactly.
But again, it's the long perspective, because now we've done it once. We've generated ideas for the future, right? Which means that there's going to be a lot more of this. So the investment here, if that is the way to look at it, right? It's not really what we're creating right now. It is the opportunity that we are creating for the future, right? It is the option. It is the option to succeed in future.
And you know, I don't care if this video gets 50 views. This is a base for what could. I guarantee you that it's not the last time you see Oliver on this channel. I don't want to give out too much because, let's see how things go, right? But we already talked about some things, and they're things that we both want to do and are excited about. Can we think of 1 to 3 things, small steps that you can take in expanding your network? Because a lot of people are watching, and I myself, sometimes you feel stuck in your network. You feel that you're the only one thinking about this thing. Sometimes you feel like you're crazy that you're so passionate about one thing and nobody else cares about it. The same way I'm with my YouTube thing in my network, right? So what could we do? Can we sign up for classes? Can we go to random cafes in different cities? What should we do in expanding our network?
Very often this thing, if you want to do something that might be scary, like meeting other people, then you go in this stage of paralysis, right? So you get paralyzed. You think about, I could do X, Y, Z, and but the action you take is actually equals 0. And then you have the opposite pole of that, which is analysis, which is actually, you know, going in overdrive and just doing everything, and then beginning to analyze what worked. So it's always better to be at the analysis point than the paralysis point. That's thing number 1. Thing number 2, which is a concrete tool that I learned from, his name is Youngwon Nam, which was the former country representative of JP Morgan Hong Kong, whatever, Google it. But he actually told me about this network listings, so Excel, right? Go in, literally, and this sounds like way out, but literally, go in, make an Excel sheet or a list, however you prefer it. I would probably use Excel. Go in and actually list down the people that you know. And the idea here, it may sound like you are objectifying a lot. That's not the idea. The idea is to be conscious about the people that you actually know, figure out who are you actually spending the most time with, and then look at that holistically and go like, do I actually want this? Is this the best? Let me give you an example. Let's say you have a job that you enjoy, and then you have a colleague that just drains the energy, right? Then by doing this, you will realize, okay, actually 80% of my professional time is spent next to someone that drains my energy. Okay, for the long run, it might be difficult, but the best option might be to actually see if I can move this around. So actually making a list, taking a holistic view at who and where you spend your time, just being conscious about it, that will completely change the perspective. And I think that's the easiest way, because everyone has different goals and blah blah blah, but just being aware, basically. Figure out, do the people that I spend time with, are they valuable? Do they help me towards the goal that I have? But that of course leaves you to goal planning, right? So everything goes together, because this list is useless if you have absolutely no idea where you want to go, right?
Exactly.
So step one, number one, is actually figuring out where do I want to go. And then once you have step number one, that's when you look at, okay, my network right now, is that something that will carry me towards that goal, closer to it? It doesn't have to be accurate, but will it carry me closer to it, or will it carry me further from it? Because if you have a very clear goal and you spend time on something that doesn't carry you that way, it's essentially wasted. And of course, we're not machines, right? So we need vacation, we need to go partying, all of these things. But the idea is just that the majority of your time should be spent wisely, if you want to do something great with it, right?
100%. You know, there was also this quote, and I don't know who said it, but it's in my mind for years. You are the average of the people you surround yourself with. And that resonates with me on all levels. And it's not like you can, you know, you can't always control it, or maybe you slip out of it, but then it's good to have it as a reminder in your mind that certain things in your life happen because of the people you surround yourself with. On so many levels that you don't know, or you will realize years later, right? You find yourself in certain circumstances, and then you connect the dots 2 years later.
Exactly,
right?
exactly.
Oliver and I are both aware we touched a lot of subjects briefly, and it was just for the purpose of maybe inspiring someone or giving advice to each other. If you heard something that you would like to find out more, or you like us and you want to hear more about that certain something, please leave a comment, and we're for sure gonna touch that topic with sharing our own experience or best practices, right?
We have a lot of things.
100%.
So please just let us know if there is any one of these specific things that you would like us to basically go in detail on. We will be happy to do it.
100%. Maybe on this channel, or on Oliver's future channel. Hey, you're laughing now, but who knows, right? Maybe. So please leave a comment if you want to hear more from us, if you want to see Alex and Oliver in the future. And I would like to thank you for watching until here, because if you did, you obviously enjoyed our talk. And see you in the next video.
See you. Thank you.